We have almost all council members here. I will not mention them by name, but the reason I ask this council to stand is that we take pride in working very carefully with Senate and supporting Senate. We have been very careful to attend to the needs of staff in terms of remuneration and so on. But we also been extremely careful that we have a good working relationship and providing the right policy environment. One other reason why I've asked the council to stand, we were appointed for a term of 4 years, and our term is coming to an end. I'd like to use this occasion to thank the university public for having, and the government, for having given us a chance to serve. Thank you very much. I'd like to use the chance to introduce our next guest on the program, and that is the Principal Secretary, State Department of University Education, Professor Coletta Suda, to address the congregation. Welcome, Professor.
The Chancellor, Southeastern Kenya University, Dr. Titus Naikuni, the Governor of Makueni County, Honorable Professor Kibuta Kibwana, the Chairman of Seku Council, Professor Luis Mumera, members of Seku Council, the Vice Chancellor of Seku, Professor Geoffrey Muluvi, the Vice Chancellor of Maseno University, Professor Julius Umundi Nyabundi, the Acting Vice Chancellor of Muranga University of Technology, Professor Dixon Nyariki, the Deputy Vice Chancellors who are present here today, including those who are representing their VCs, members of Seku Council and Senate, staff, parents, guardians, students, graduates, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chancellor, sir, I wish to join everyone in this congregation in congratulating the graduates. Today, we are assembled here to celebrate a very special occasion in the academic life of our graduates who have worked very hard to realize their dreams. I urge them to put the education they have acquired here into good use for the benefit of humanity. We are all agreed that universities play a critical role in the creation of knowledge, skills, and competencies which are needed for sustainable development. Kenya needs universities and other institutions of higher learning to develop the much needed human resource capacity for its envisaged industrial takeoff under the Vision 2030. It is for this reason that in the past 1 decade, the government has invested heavily in setting up universities and technical training institutions throughout the country. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Kenya has about 31 public and 40 private universities, and that is giving us a total of 71 universities. And these universities are providing quality higher education to our youth. As a result, the government has now shifted focus from creating new universities to instituting quality assurance systems in these universities. Any institution of higher learning is anchored on basically 3 things: access to education, quality of that education, and the relevance of that education. I think we have done very well as a country in promoting access to higher education. What we need to focus our attention on is to ensure quality in the university sector. As you are aware, Mr. Chancellor, between January and February this year, the Commission for University Education carried out a countrywide quality audit inspection in all universities in order to establish compliance with its standards, guidelines, and regulations, including the soundness of the systems in our universities, the structures that are in place in terms of governance, and the operations in general. Because each university was given a specific report to be able to make the necessary reforms based on the findings of the quality audit inspection. The whole idea behind this is to ensure that quality remains the focus of our institutions of higher learning. The government will not relent in its quest to streamline university education to respond to our development needs as a country. I urge all universities to comply with the criteria put in place by the Commission for University Education, a body which is mandated to regulate our universities in terms of the standards and also to monitor quality and to ensure that the guidelines are complied with. Ladies and gentlemen, I appeal to the universities to put quality first in their planning so as to guard against expanding their facilities in terms of additional campuses and programs at the expense of quality and relevance. It must be recognized that expansion of university education in an environment characterized by limited resources does indeed compromise quality. I said earlier that we have enough universities in this country. What we need to do is to focus attention on the quality of the products that come from those universities. From now on, universities must admit only those students who meet the requirements for the programs they are getting into. Those programs should, in turn, be delivered by qualified and competent staff who are hired competitively on merit. Basic facilities such as laboratories, libraries, and lecture theaters should be sufficient for quality learning to take place in any university. It's only by ensuring quality at every stage that we can guarantee that the end product, who is the graduate, will be of value in this society. Mr. Chancellor, the end game of all these university reforms is to have a situation where only those who are supposed to be in our universities, both in terms of the students and the staff, are there. We actually have started a reform agenda which will ensure that that happens. There are so many cases where we have people, both students and staff, who are either learning in these universities or teaching or doing research, and they have no business doing so because they don't belong there. Our degrees and other certifications must be earned in Kenya's education system is to maintain the glory and respect it has regionally and globally enjoyed. Let me assure all stakeholders in the education sector that we in the government will not relent in enforcing this measure, which are aimed at ensuring that our universities attain the desired status of centers of excellence in training, research, and innovation. I urge the universities to be at the forefront in safeguarding education in the country by supporting the Ministry and the Commission for University Education in enforcing this measure for the benefit of all of us. While quality audit inspections will now be routine, each university must develop internal quality assurance policy and procedures to guide their day-to-day operations. As the pinnacles in our education system, universities should be the paragon of order in society. It is therefore not excusable that our universities, which have invested so heavily in technology, should be plagued by problems such as missing marks or ghost students who they cannot account for. To avoid this, every university is required to develop a student information management system which they will use to identify every student when they joined, what they are taking, and when they leave. This will be very important because you will not have these incidences of missing marks or students moving from one year of study to the next without their transcript. Mr. Chancellor, sir, universities should also focus attention on STEM and to strengthen linkages between education, training, and industry. Further, it is important to benchmark with the internationally recognized universities to adopt best practices for ensuring global competitiveness in the workplace. In addition, government structures have been put in place to ensure efficient and effective management of these institutions. I urge the leadership of SECU to promote good governance and to ensure quality in all its academic programs. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I want to congratulate the management and the council of Southeastern Kenya University for prudent management of public resources. From where I sit and from what I've seen, it is evident that the management has actually exercised a lot of care in the utilization of resources, given the level of infrastructural development that I've seen in this institution. I want to commend both the council and the management for this, and I want to encourage them to continue with that. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let me once again wish the graduates well in their future endeavors. I urge them to embrace discipline and hard work in everything they do. May God bless you as you move on to another phase of your life. Thank you all very much.
I'd like to use this opportunity to invite the other arm of government at the devolved level, today being represented particularly by the governor of Makueni, Professor Kibudha Kibwana. This is a challenging time for governors and other components of the political class, and we are particularly grateful that the governor could spare his time to be with us. Please, a few remarks.
The Chancellor of SECU, our Principal Secretary, Chairman of Council, Vice Chancellor, and members of the academic staff, other workers, and all visiting faculty and friends, students, especially the graduates, and parents and relatives. I'm very privileged to at least be asked to say one or two things in this congregation. It has been a long time that I've come back to the university and had an opportunity to say something. First of all, I would like to congratulate the university because, as the Vice Chancellor said, this is one of the best universities in the country and is even positioned on the continent. Even though it started recently, it has been able to make such strides, and it must be the university that is growing and which will be an important institution in the future. Congratulations. I want again to congratulate the graduates, those who have done 4 years and those who have done their master's programs for coming to an end of their programs. Congratulations. You are now going to another phase in life, and there is a lot of work to be done out there. I want to challenge you to say that whatever it is that you have studied, please let it make a difference in your own personal lives. Even if you have studied, or particularly if you have studied mathematics, ask yourselves, how can what I have studied change me as a person? Because many times we study things and they don't change us at a personal level. I also want to tell you that people will seek for employment, but you can also employ yourself, because today's world is about innovation. So think about what you can do to really make a difference in the environment and how you can innovate, not just how you can go and get employed by somebody and come to work 8 to 5. And secondly, I think that ethics is probably one of the most important pillars as we go forward in anything that we engage in. So please remember that in your place of work, in your own work, in your family, in whichever place you are at, you must be ethical, and that will take you very far in life. I'm very grateful because Makueni County partners with SECO, and we would like even for you to help us in development work in terms of developing water resources. This is something we have discussed together, because we think that universities have a prime place in communities to advance them in development affairs, and we are glad that we are partnering in terms of you're building a campus in Makueni, and the people of Makueni have made available 30 acres of land in Watertown for that purpose. And we know we will partner with you to incubate the Makueni University College and eventually Makueni University. Part of why I came here is I have staff and I have kids from Makueni County who are graduating today, and we are very proud that your university has given them education. Finally, graduates, even when things are very tough, please know there is God that you can turn to. And when things are very good, also remember that is when you even turn to God very much, because He's the author of that success. In September, I will be going to university again to study community development. I want to know why people don't want to develop and what can be done to make them want to develop. So I'm shopping for a university, Mr. Chancellor. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Dr. Maikuni to address the congregation and subsequently award conferred degrees and diplomas. Welcome.
This is Suda. He is State Department for University Education. Governor of the County, my colleagues, chancellors of the university, the chairman, Council, Professor Mera, members of the Council, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Matuvi, Vice Chancellor of the other universities who are present, members of the Senate, parents, staff, students, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. May I take this opportunity to congratulate our graduates on their momentous achievement which we are gathered here today to celebrate. Dear graduates, I am confident that your stay here has transformed you into thinkers and actors with a mission to positively transform lives in Kenya and beyond. I urge you to strive to create an inclusive society where the well-being of all is a focus of it. May I also echo Professor Kibwana's statement. I know that most of you will be expecting to get employment when you leave here. It's unfortunate that that is not the case. When I talk of employment that we're expecting, it's the 8 to 4:30 or 8 to 5 employment. We are a young country, we're still growing, and the economy may not be able to absorb all the graduates that we get out of all our universities. It is therefore imperative that you start thinking in terms of innovation. Embrace innovation to create wealth, because it is wealth that creates employment. And who knows, you may end up being employers yourselves. And there are many opportunities for a young nation like Kenya, which is still growing, for you to innovate and create satisfaction for yourselves, and also apply the education that you've got. Professor Kibwana did mention two things that I always mention. One of them is unethical behavior. Whether you're employed by someone else or you're self-employed, if you don't have an ethical behavior within your own self, then you're doomed to fail. You may have what you think is success, which is temporary, because I say unethical success is temporary, but you'll have a longer period of having to pay back for the unethical behavior. The second thing is the issue of tribalism. I was going through this booklet that we have, trying to read the names of all the graduates, and I'm pleased to see that this university has really embraced the tenets of good leadership in terms of bringing in people from every community in this country. And to me, that's a way of starting to make sure that we kill this monster that's called tribalism. I went to high school in Kisii, having come from Kajiado, and I can tell you that most of my best friends right now are the friends I met in my A-levels in Kisii. So, if you need success, for heaven's sake, try to shun those two vices. That is unethical behavior and tribalism. I'm personally proud to be part of SECU in her pursuit of world-class university standards. I recognize that the best way to achieve these goals is to benchmark and share experiences with peers and giants in education and research fields. I therefore urge the university's academic community to venture out and engage in collaborative and interdisciplinary research projects that harness science and technology to improve